Welcome into the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Robert Ziggy Ziegler up at Harvard University. And we have producer Zack Bloomquist is with us, the best executive producer in the game. And, one more little light round of applause for Zack here, who, Ziggy, made it a very clear point that he skipped out on his family dinner to come record the podcast tonight. I mean, that is the sacrifices that producer Zack makes for this show are second to none, you could say. Second to none. So, Zack, I'm sorry you're missing out on pizza night.
All right. I have to wake up at 4 a.m. anyway.
Yeah, I mean, pizza. I mean, can you even can you eat pizza? No, you can't even eat it. So it's like a smack in your face.
So what you're saying is he's not missing out on anything.
He's missing out from an upset stomach and probably a horrible night, right?
I probably would have had a nice burger.
Burger? You would have gone with the burger?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, now with Zack and I on this nutritionist kick, we gotta watch what we eat, Ziggy. Bread's out of the picture. The sugar, refined sugar,
is
out of the
picture.
Sauce
out of the picture?
No, hot sauce is okay, right?
Because sometimes I just drink
for
hot
you,
sauce.
yeah, for you.
Yeah, hot sauce doesn't exist anymore in my world.
Yeah. We hey, if you're looking for a nutritionist, Zack and I have a recommendation for you. Mackenzie Julia Nutrition. Go check it out. Top tier stuff. I actually do feel better.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah. Well.
Hashtag sponsored, not sponsored.
Yeah, and the hashtag sponsored, not sponsored.
Is it sponsored?
If you're enjoying the content, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Hey, 29.7, gentlemen. We have done it after months, and I mean months, of seeing Paul Farrington Show, 29.6K subscribers. We have breached the 29.7 mark. I was so excited today that I texted the guys, it's finally the day, 29.7. And Ziggy texts back, 0% chance. It's like, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, no way we get to 30K today. And I went, no. I'm legitimately just talking 29.7. We reached desperation levels, but we're here. And, we'll see how it goes. We're flying past 29.7 right now. And again, if you're so inclined to subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, let them know that you enjoy watching this show. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us, and we enjoy being with you. So today should be a fun show. Yesterday, I did a little more of an NFC North deep dive into the draft. You can go check that out. Ziggy was very upset.
He was okay.
Very upset that he was not part of the NFC North show. Made it a
only
point
guy here who knows what he's talking about, not invited to the NFC North show.
Yeah, he made it a point of emphasis that he wants to give his take on the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, as we're trying to expand out, it's to be more of an NFC North, and then the next level would be broader NFL. Ziggy refuses to move off the Green Bay Packer niche that we have, which is probably good business. I mean, most Packers fans, that's our audience right here. So we'll have Ziggy's Packers take in just a moment. The rest of the show, draft overreactions. It's always fun when you have an overreact. We're recording on a Monday night, so I guess technically this could be an overreaction Monday for the NFL draft. And we have a couple good takes coming your way. We'll get there in just a moment. But Ziggy, why don't you first, since you're crying out from the rooftops that you want to talk about the Packers draft, what was your biggest takeaway? And if you want, you can even cite some of my takes from the Monday episode.
Well, I don't know why I would cite your takes because you have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, of course. How do you feel? In all seriousness, though, for the Packers, first, I don't know if you saw when I said this, 3 defensive players selected in a row for the first time since 2018 for them in a draft.
Yeah, this was, in many ways, this felt like a very prototypical Green Bay draft, right? You got the cornerback, you got the developmental edge rusher with all the athletic traits in the world. You got Chris McClellan coming in on the defensive line. And my general takeaway from this draft, this is not going to help me beat the allegations. I was down on a lot of NFC North drafts this offseason.
Yeah.
I didn't really like what a few of the teams did, and we'll get there. I think that fundamentally Green Bay knew what they needed going into this draft. And without overpaying for anybody, they got all the players that they could have reasonably expected. Brandon Sissy, as we've decided to call him on the Paul Farrington Show.
See, we're going to get in trouble one day because I do feel like we're reaching the point in maybe not the broader NFC North media sphere, but the Packers media sphere that one day we could interview this guy or we could talk to someone who's friends with him.
I'm not antagonizing Brandon Cisse. I'm trying to antagonize Packers fans.
Yeah. Yeah. And by the way, this is totally my fault for what's about to happen when we call him.
You coined this.
I did make it up. Yes. So Brandon Cisse or Sissy, whichever you prefer.
I think that he's got a good chance and be productive early on. He's a player who I would not have minded the Minnesota Vikings taking. DDS, Danny Dennis Sutton, was a big target from a lot of Green Bay people. We saw being talked about as a potential pick at 77, and they got him at 120 instead. I don't love trading up for a kicker, but 2 7th-round picks is not a huge price to pay for the only kicker worth taking in this draft. I just thought in a draft where we saw a lot of NFC North teams take players earlier than they should have, worry a little bit too much about we need someone at this position right away to produce.
Yeah.
Green Bay did what they always did and took players who are promising. We don't know whether or not they'll work out, but they're promising with an eye towards now and an eye towards the future. So without a first-round pick, right, obviously they're going to say their first-round selection this year was Micah Parsons. Fair enough. He's better than anyone else in this draft.
Yeah, that annoyed me. It was a couple Packer grades.
It's annoying every year.
Well, I'm not a fan of the other NFC North teams getting great grades and the Vikings getting a negative grade, which seems to be the case year in and year out at this point. But when I looked over at a couple grading systems, and legitimately reporters were saying, not sure if this would be an A, but the Micah Parsons basically being the first round pick pushed it over the top. I was like, okay, come on. Are we really counting Micah as part of this draft class? It was a good trade. Like, we all agree that he's made a huge impact there, but that should be separate from the grading to me. And regardless of if you count it, the Packers still did have a very good draft, unfortunately.
The one thing that I want to see from Green Bay coming out of this draft, one thing that raised red flags for me, it's a 5th-round pick, so maybe it's not the end of the world, but Jaeger-Burton, that center they took out of Kentucky, I didn't like hearing the Packers talk about how versatile he was and how many positions he can play.
Well, that's what they do.
We've
That's
seen
all they
over
do.
and over again. That has really hurt them in the development of the offensive line picks they've taken the past few years, right? Like, one of the big issues I feel like in developing Jordan Morgan and why that hasn't worked out is he hasn't had a position that he can practice consistently. Anthony Belton, it feels like it's the same thing, even to some extent, Sean Ryan. So I know that they sort of have their starting 5 locked in and Burton is there as a backup.
Mm-hmm.
But I would really like to see, I wouldn't like to see this. I hope they keep doing what they're doing. I think the Packers, if they want him to turn into something, should be a little bit more consistent and think through the developmental program a little bit better.
I think that was solely a selection for merchandising with Jaeger bombs.
Oh, I totally get it.
That's to me, that's what the goal is right there. We all understand that in Wisconsin, big beer state, right? And we know that it's Wisconsin, you go the drunkest counties in America, or the most alcohol consumed, it's all in Wisconsin. Beer sales are through the roof. I would imagine that Jägermeister was like, hey, let's get involved here. Maybe throw a couple pennies over the Packers' way, and we'll get...
Wouldn't that be...
Yeah?
I feel like that would fit better if Chicago than Green Bay, because Jägermeister is not really a Wisconsin drink.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're trying to crack the market here.
Of course.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. You're trying to crack the market.
This is brilliant.
I mean, his last name starts with a B too. It's Jaeger-Burton, Jaeger-Bomb. I mean, it makes sense. That to me, I'm almost unwilling to acknowledge the football side of this because I think it's a brilliant tactical move in terms of sales.
Well, and they traded effectively Dontavian Wicks for this guy. What, is Green Bay going to sell candles? I don't think so.
That'd be pretty good right there.
You don't like candles, Ziggy?
You're not a candle guy?
I love candles, but I don't think Wisconsin's much of a candle state. I think it's an alcohol state.
Why? They can make it a cheesed candle. Cheese smelling candle.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all.
Put in the comments if you would use a cheese smelling candle if you're from Wisconsin.
Well, this might not be the crowd for it. This crowd might actually do that. I'm actually turning into... Ooh, I don't know. Hold on a second. But I want to say I'm turning into a candle guy. I've done it. Zach and I lit a candle out. We went outside. We had Zach had a cigar. I had a cup of tea. Oh my God, am I turning into a sissy? I went outside.
Cup of tea, scented candles.
Wait a second. What's happening to me?
Seeing a nutritionist.
You can see I've got my candle right
if you
back
think
there.
go ahead. I'm sorry, Ziggy.
I'm saying I got a candle right back there. You could be me anytime you want, Paul.
I used to walk around listening to classic rock all the time, talking about football. And I still talk about football now, but I'm realizing within this show already, I've said I'm seeing a nutritionist cut out bread, drinking tea outside while my friend smokes a cigar, and I'm lighting scented candles outside.
And we didn't even bring up Olivia Rodrigo.
And we haven't even got to Olivia Rodrigo yet. Wow, this is This is
why
a
we haven't hit
revelation.
30K. You're losing your credibility as a football voice of America.
Well, football is pulling a lot of weight for me right now. Football is pulling a lot of weight.
He even makes his own milk now.
No, I do not make my own milk. I do not make my own milk.
More
I drew. It probably would, but I drew. No. This was like a recommendation was to, the healthy way of having the healthiest milk is just make your own. And I was like, I can't do that. Like,
I make my own soy milk.
No, you don't.
Well, when you make tofu, I make my own tofu. When you make tofu, you get a bunch of soy milk.
I go to the store and I buy whole milk. That's what I like to do. Sure, if I had almond milk recently, yes. but typically I like whole milk. All right, let's get back to football. We gotta get back to football. So you're a fan. You're a fan of the Packers draft.
I don't want to be a fan. I mean, of course, there's things you can criticize Green Bay for, but rather than they took the kinds of picks they like to make, and rather than reaching for them, got them at value.
Yeah.
And I think if you're Green Bay without a first round pick, there wasn't a lot they could do in this draft to dramatically improve the team. This was my favorite draft out of the NFC North. I thought it was a lot of smart options.
You thought the best draft?
Are they going to get the most production compared to everyone else? Not necessarily,
but for what they have,
the resources they had, I think they did the best.
Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah. And it's not a bad take. And for Packers fans, a lot of it's going to be their improvement next year. Kind of similar to what we said last year. Guys taking that leap, and this year it's a little different. So many people returning from injuries. I said in my show that I did solo. The offense they're not worried about the offense. Get the defense to a place where it can perform at a high level, and they'll feel really confident about their chances heading into next season, where it should be a dogfight in the NFC North. So, Ziggy, if you thought the Packers were the best, I don't even know if I want to go here. Who did you think had the worst draft in the NFC North? And by the way, for everyone listening, I don't know what Ziggy's going to say here, but I've seen the grades. I've seen the grades. I know what everyone's saying. I'm just hoping. This is a show about hope. We all know this is a show about hope. Tell me I'm wrong.
I mean, I can lie to you if you want me to lie to you.
No, you tell me the truth.
All right, I will tell you the truth. There were criticisms I had with every other NFC North team. I didn't like the positional selection for the Bears. The Lions made some of their weird things they did.
Yeah.
But for me, the hardest draft to stomach and the one that upset me the most, I think this is because I'm a fan of the team. I'm probably more negative on it than I should be. It is the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay. All right.
It is the only team that from the start of draft night to the end of round 3, or the end of day 3, excuse me, that I feel like is a worse team than they were at the start.
Wow. Ziggy, I'll tell you right now, I think that we just have synced up personally on our takes. Again, here I go. I can't help myself.
Here's the thing about this draft that's interesting about the Minnesota Vikings is the Minnesota Vikings took what struck me as a lot of coin flip players.
Yes.
A lot of guys who could be really good or could really struggle. And they're hoping that they basically all come up heads. Now, I think if you're the Vikings and you're in a weird spot, I understand why they did this. Because they they sort of need to get more talented, but also they can't take players that hitting a bunch of B picks just doesn't do it for them.
Yeah.
We both want to commit, we want to win now and we want to get way more talented. The only way you can do that is by taking players like Caleb Banks, who have a lot of upside, but where there's a reason why GMs across the league are passing on him.
But was now the time to do that?
When else are you going to do that, right? Here's the benefit of drafting this way is if these guys don't work out, we're going to be bad next year because Grenard's not around. The defense will probably regress. And the hope is then we can take a quarterback.
But don't you think the rest of the roster is pretty much in a spot where they're ready to win if Kyler Murray can come in and just be okay?
I think if the defense plays as well as last year.
Well, yeah, sure.
But lost a lot of bodies. You're relying on Dallas Turner to take a huge step forward. This secondary situation, a couple injuries,
a little murky. Yeah,
wipe us out.
But wouldn't that feel like a time where if you come in and let's just say they go Caden McDonald, right? They clearly wanted run stoppers. If you go Caden McDonald, a little bit of a stretch again, you trade back, maybe get him. If you go there, you feel a little bit safer with the pick. You know you're going to get some solid production out of him. He might not be a star the way you're hoping Caleb Banks turns into, but you're still going to get that really important piece of the puzzle for the defense. That seems to me like it would have been, clearly the safer route to go down and puts you in a position where you feel like the rest of the team is good to go now. That's why you go and get Kyler. That's the way they're talking. It's as if they want to compete next season. And again, it could work out well with Caleb Banks. It could work out well with all these guys. But I just don't know if rolling the dice was, or flipping the coin is the analogy you used, was really the way you wanted to approach a draft that everyone agreed, hey, let's get back on track of drafting guys that are going to be useful to this team. And now we have a guy who we're not even sure if he's going to be on the field anytime soon.
Well, one thing Andy Herman said, and we'll see whether or not this turns out to be true, because I feel like you hear it more often than not. But internally, the reporting has consistently been that this has been a draft where NFL GMs are not confident there's a lot of players that can step in and be productive right away, or ever. So we don't know whether or not that's true, and there's no doubt there's some talent out there. But so I saw an interesting thing when ESPN, Kevin Seifert, was giving his analysis of the Vikings. He says, I don't know why they're taking so many D-line guys. They've got so many promising players like Levi Drake Rodriguez and Tyrion Ingram Dawkins and Elijah Williams. I don't think that's true.
Zach's nodding his head like Zach's like what the hell? Yeah,
Jalen Redmond is a promising player on the interior. Let's be clear.
They need to load up. They need to load up on D tackles.
Yeah, and I think we are talking about getting a reliable run stopper. That's big citrus. Dominique
Love that nickname. Love that.
Packers fans were wailing when he went off the board to us because he was one of their big.
Yeah. Big. When you have this is another thing. It's like Jennings Dunker goes to the Steelers. You have a defensive tackle named Big Citrus. I mean, you're getting somebody.
And I really think that he could be good. We needed. I mean, what did we say going into this offseason? Our two big needs are interior D line and secondary.
Yeah.
I don't think that Charles Demings will be that guy, though I think he's a very interesting prospect who can fit in well with Flores. But this Vikings draft was all about taking players that, if they hit, could be big. Jake Golday is a guy who a lot of teams weren't super high on, but he fits very well with Brian Flores, a big off-ball linebacker who's been an edge rusher.
I also like getting bigger at that position. Yeah. I like getting a 6'5" guy. It feels like our defense can be a little undersized at times this year or this draft, right? One thing you notice, Caleb Banks, 6'6", 320 something. Golday, 6'5". Like they emphasize size early in the draft.
And don't forget Caleb Tiernan on the offensive line. He's
6'7", right? Yeah, 6'8". Like they got big dudes, and that's something that you notice, right? You can't get pushed around, especially in the NFC. When the past few champions, right, the Eagles on that D-line, the Seahawks in their D-line, that's proven to be successful in the NFL right now. Get big, get nasty up front, and the Vikings clearly took that approach, which you can't fault them for swinging for the fences, but
Harrison Smith had better come back.
Well, I think he will. We've been on that train this entire time.
I read that from this draft. Like, Jacoby Thomas is an interesting player, and I can see him developing, but the other thing everyone was pounding the table for, we said defensive line. We also said secondary. We took a third-round safety when everyone had us taking a safety in round 1. Our first corner was in round 5. We took Max Bredesen, that like blocking tight end.
Yeah, got made fun of a lot for that one.
I mean, this is what the Minnesota Vikings do, right? You can tell it from the Josh Oliver contract we handed out. I don't think there's a team in the NFL that values the tight end fullback more than us.
No, I mean, we had, and also forget about tight end fullback, just having CJ Ham forever. We're one team that has a fullback still. Not only do we have fullbacks, we also have tight end fullbacks. So like, we're all in on blocking with those guys.
And I can't be too unhappy about that because that's what we're up to. So the reason I say we've said a lot of positive things. Why is this my least favorite draft? We just gave lots of reasons why this could work out. It probably won't.
Yeah,
it's unlikely that all of these things, when you take a prospect tackle, when you take a prospect defensive tackle with injury reports, when you take a safety who like has struggled at times, it could go our way. I think it probably won't, but I at least understand the mentality. And frankly, this is one thing with Kwesi Adofo-Mensah that was frustrating, is it often didn't feel like we had a plan I could figure out.
Yep.
Whether or not I like the plan, The Minnesota Vikings had a plan. We're going to get cheaper. We're going to get younger. We're going to get bigger. And they did those things.
So we're going to, because we want to get to the overreactions too, but I do want you to, if you can condense Bears and Lions, your reaction to them, so we can get to the overreactions. The Lions go Blake Miller first round, the offensive tackle out of Clemson. Then they go Derek Moore, the edge out of Michigan, shoring up two of the bigger needs on their team. You're saying that the rest of their draft, they did the Lions things where they're good at. I don't know if I quite agreed with that, but you like Detroit, their philosophy.
Detroit did something they haven't done in a while, which is take players at positions of value early.
Yeah.
It was later in the draft they sort of had their guys, but that's totally fine. I was thinking there of the Kendrick Law trade up with Buffalo.
Okay.
But yeah, I think adding tackle, adding edge, adding two pretty good players makes a lot of sense for them. And Chicago did basically the opposite. Chicago said, we're not going to do
the biggest.
We're not going to worry about value. We're going to take a safety and we're going to take a center because that's what we want.
But they also ignored arguably the biggest need at defensive end. And
that's what was weird. Is this felt like the coaching in every draft, either the GM or the coaching staff is in control. This was very clearly Ben Johnson and the coaching staff are in control. They circled Thieneman. They circled Logan Jones. They circled Sam Rush and said, these are the guys we're going to draft.
Well, I love that they were like, hey, why didn't you go after defensive end? And Ben Johnson goes, we'll coach him better. And you think Austin Booker will take a jump next year, but you have Shamar Turner and Dio Denigbo coming back. It's just, I feel like you at least would have wanted to add one more guy to that rotation and hope that they can be
especially when in the third round you're taking your tight end three.
Yeah, that's the pick.
Ellis Jones.
It made no sense to me. It made no sense to me. And I'm one of my overreactions is we'll be sitting here in the middle of the season next year going, man, all Chicago fans I bet are sitting here in the middle of the season going, wow, I wish we had addressed defensive end. When this is the same issue we've had year after year. Who's Montez Sweat's running mate? And maybe it is. Maybe Austin Booker does take a step up, but you're certainly going to need more at that position. And I don't know if Sam Rush is going to be. It's hard for me to envision a world where he's more impactful to the team. And there's nothing against Sam Rush. I guess it is something against him, but
no, it's not his fault. He was drafted to a team where he's tight end 3.
Yeah. And they need help at defensive end. That pick was very, very bizarre to me.
And I totally understand why Bears fans are high on Austin Booker, and I am too. The problem is in the modern NFL, having two good edge rushers is not enough. Yeah. Now, Bears fans can say Dio is going to come back, but relying on a guy coming back from an Achilles injury is always dangerous.
And Shamar Turner is coming back from an ACL. So,
yeah, it's just... the depth is going to be tested. And if Austin Booker and Montez Sweat can play 80% of the snaps and be healthy all season, it could work out. But that's a dream.
So there's the NFC North for you. We have all right, let's get in some overreactions. Draft night overreactions. We'll push it to the broader league here. Zach, real quick, were you happy with the Dolphins overall? All you wanted was a lineman, right? So you're happy with Proctor?
Yeah, I'm happy with the lineman, but I'm pretty sure I called most of the picks that we were going to go with.
You did throughout the live stream. You were pretty much spot on. If it wasn't the exact guy, it was absolutely the position.
Yeah,
I love the Jacob Rodriguez.
Not the exact same.
I love the Jacob Rodriguez pick. I get that he's an undersized linebacker that a lot of people will probably have issue with, but to me,
he's from right?
Where?
Where did he go to college?
Oh, Texas Tech.
And who else went to Texas Tech?
Mahomes?
Nope.
Wait, I don't know where your brain's going here.
Zach Thomas, baby.
Oh, Oh, okay. Wow. That's my fault. I didn't give Zach enough credit for his historian nature here. I was assuming that you were just going the best player in the league's there. It doesn't matter. It's the opposite side of the ball.
No. That's where everything began for us.
All right. So good history in Miami with Texas Tech linebackers. I just love guys that make plays. It's crazy to say, but people who are good football players and get results on the field, I want them on my team. So I thought that was just an awesome pick for you guys who clearly, no offense, you need a lot of help. And how many picks did you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 picks for the Dolphins.
13. Did we end up with 13?
Unbelievable. Just a big draft class in Miami. And hey, man, you hit on all of them. Maybe there's a playoff run. in Miami.
Well, no, because they still don't have a quarterback. But sorry. I don't think they have a quarterback. But if they hit on some of them, they'll have a wide receiver, a couple offensive linemen, and a linebacker. That's what you want when you're coming in with a rookie QB next year, whoever it is.
I have to do poor Malik, because right now, guys,
again, I don't feel bad for Malik. Malik's getting paid.
Everyone gun to your head right now. In 2027, do the Dolphins have? Do the Dolphins have a rookie quarterback starting in 2027 at some point? Not at the beginning of the year, at some point. Yes.
We'll assume Malik Willis is totally healthy. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I think so too. Whether it's Arch Manning, Dante Moore, CJ Carr, who's the is Sellers supposed to go high?
We'll see. I mean,
Carolina.
You don't know who's going to go high.
Yeah, we
still have a whole year.
Yeah, we do have a year. We have a year. We have a year. Again, I was looking at 2027 mock drafts, which actually kind of just shows how
with the season,
how disenchanted I am with the Vikings already. Like when it rains, it pours. I'm waking up the day after the 2026 draft, and I'm like, oh wow, we can make a move here for someone in 2027. Notre Dame, by the way, Ziggy, I think I saw, because I started looking at a lot of 2027 mock drafts. I think I saw 5 different guys from Notre Dame projected in the first round at some point. Could be a special.
Yeah, but I just want to read you the top 10 from last year's mock draft by ESPN.
Oh, this is interesting.
Okay. May 1st, 2025.
Yeah.
Pick number 1, Cleveland Browns trade up with Tennessee for Cade Klubnik. Number 2, Caden Proctor.
Yep. Okay.
Number 3,
hey, there you
Peter
go, Zach.
Woods.
Wait, Peter Woods, 3. Okay.
Number 4, Lenore Sellers, quarterback, South Carolina.
Yep.
Number 5, Caleb Downs. Number 6, Isaiah World. Number 7, Rams trade up for Garrett Nussmeier. Number 8, Drew Aller. Number 9, TJ Parker. Number 10, Kendrick Falk. Some players. Did you not know who?
I don't even know Isaiah World. No,
he's a starting tackle at Oregon.
Former Oregon guard, signs as undrafted rookie.
Yeah, so,
he's with the Chargers right now. Wait, he went. Wow, geez, oh my gosh.
But so what I mean is just so some of those names are familiar, right? And when you drop down, you hear Spencer Fano. The first wide receiver off the board is Jacoby Lane. But you never know who it's going to be, and oftentimes there are a lot of players. Like, again, Garrett Nussmeier, Cade Klubnik, Lenore Sellers, those were universally agreed upon as the top 3 quarterbacks going into this year. Nussmeier, he went in the 7th round, right? Cade Klubnik did go to the Jets, but not at pick 2. And was Lenore Sellers in this draft?
No.
He's going back to South Carolina,
Yeah, he'll be back.
And now he's number 1 on 2027 mock drafts.
Unbelievable. You know who I think year in and year out, it's just, I hate that I'm going to give this team some flowers right now because they've been all up in our DMs lately. But man, Howie Roseman on draft night, just the best ever. The best ever. The moves that the Eagles do year in and year out, it's just fantastic. What happens? Jalen Phillips leaves. Oh, we need an edge rusher. Let's go get Jonathan Grenard for 2/3. Now, yeah, maybe you paid him, right? You've given 4 years, $100 million, but all in all, you're expecting that to probably pay off for Philadelphia.
If Grenard is like he was when he was healthy, he will be a top 10 edge rusher in the league on a top 30 salary.
Yep. Great move there. A.J. Brown's going to the Patriots. First off, by the way, I mean, you could just go through Howie Roseman's history, right? Getting A.J. Brown on draft night years ago, that very much helped to get to the Super Bowl twice and win one. You go through the Jalen Carter pick, right? I mean, you could just go over the course of time here. The Eagles, Quinion Mitchell, right? He falls. Cooper DeJean, these guys that everyone says, oh, like we think they're going to be really good. They fall in drafts. Howie Roseman goes, okay, if you guys you don't want them, I'll take them. And losing A.J. Brown, Mekhi Lemon is on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is going to Pittsburgh, looks at the phone and says, why is Philly calling? And because Howie Roseman traded up with the Cowboys and stole him from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know how. I don't know if he knew that Pittsburgh was he had to have, right? He had to have known that Pittsburgh was making a move. That's why he jumped up. And he just makes everyone look so foolish to me on draft night.
Pittsburgh's probably going to get fined for it.
Oh, yeah. Is that
Not allowed to call guys before it's your pick.
really? Okay. I didn't even know that.
So not only that, but now the Steelers are going to have to write a check.
But Howie Roseman, year in and year out, it's admirable. It's really admirable just how good he is at his job on draft night. And, the Eagles
are Ian Ocker, man. Like now when he shows up in Pittsburgh, they'll be like, yeah, you're the guy we wanted.
Well, and yeah, you can't even fake it. Because there are guys that the teams take and they say this is who we want the whole time when it's really not. But that's what you do. Pittsburgh can't even fake it now. Like legitimately, there's video of you on the phone with a guy having him taken away from you by Philly. It's just absolutely brilliant stuff from Howie Roseman, who I just think he's the best ever. If you could put him with the Vikings, I wonder what the Vikings draft looks like if you give them Howie Roseman on draft night. Like, in a simulation where we could just have him do our draft, what are we looking at? What's the board? Is Caleb Banks in Minnesota right now? We'd probably find a way. We'd probably have Dexter Lawrence somehow. It would be unbelievable. But I'm just blown away, Ziggy, every single time the Eagles walk out of drafts and you go, wow, they didn't just get better. They got a lot better.
Well, there is one thing. If Howie Roseman were running our team, we would have taken a quarterback this year.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we had taken Ty Simpson, I would have been furious.
Well, no, but I don't necessarily mean Ty Simpson, but one of the more forward-thinking things the Eagles do is almost every year they take a quarterback. Right? Remember how much flack they got for taking Jalen Hurts when they had Carson Wentz on their team?
Oh, yeah. No, second-round pick.
Even like this year, they took Cole Payton in the 5th.
North Dakota State kid.
Like, they're always looking for quarterbacks, and they're always scouting them. And I was a little bit surprised to see the Vikings not even sniff a QB.
Yeah, you know what? I was okay with it when you have JJ and Kyler there, and you have Wentz. Like that room may as well not introduce someone else to hell. That was my.
I mean, the Browns seem to have no problem with this,
yeah,
right?
I mean, the Browns,
taking Taylon Green, and reporters ask, "Oh, are you making him a wide receiver, a tight end?" And they go, "What are you talking about?"
He's a quarterback.
Yeah.
What about you, Ziggy? Any overreaction from draft night?
Here's my biggest overreaction. We've seen it before. We've seen it again. The San Francisco 49ers blow another draft. And I'll tell you this. I wanted to believe opposite for a while. Even as recently as this offseason, I believed it. Here's my takeaway. Kyle Shanahan, the coach, is not good enough to overcome Kyle Shanahan Lynch, the GM. The 49ers make the same couple of mistakes basically every year, and it's sort of remarkable that they haven't figured this out. On day 2, you can predict what the 49ers will do with startling accuracy every single time. Here's what they're going to do. They're going to reach on a wide receiver who everyone else has in like the hundreds because he fits in their system, and they're going to take a running back who has absolutely no business being taken there and will get overtaken on a depth chart by an undrafted free agent by week 3. Now, you might say, like, Ziggy, how is this possible? How do they do this almost every single year? They did it with this year of Deshaun Stribling and Kalen Black. In 2025, it was a little bit better. They took Alfred Collins and Nick Martin, neither of whom are any good. In 2024, it was Ricky Pearsall and Isaac Guerrero. In 2022,
Ricky Pearsall has been, when he's not shot, he's been decent, you know.
I mean, he's okay, but he was overdrafted, and it's not like he's really impressed. In 2022, it was Tyrion Davis-Price and Danny Green. In 2021, it was Trey Lance, the quarterback, and Trey Sermon. Like, they just light draft picks on fire almost every single year for a round 2 wide receiver and a round 3 running back.
For how
who never
good,
do anything.
Yeah, for how good their team is, if they had been supplemented by, successful and if they had beneficial draft picks right now, 49ers probably have a Super Bowl. I mean, hey, so you don't think they can overcome?
Shanahan and Lynch haven't been fired is because they took Brock Purdy.
Well, Brock Purdy saved them. Yeah, I mean, Brock Purdy right now. Yeah, he absolutely saved them. After the Trey Lance would have gotten anyone else fired in the league.
And if they have to read the picks after, because sometimes you trade up and there wasn't a lot of talent. The picks after Trey Lance: Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, J.C. Horn, Pat Surtain, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater.
I'm going to say right now, Ziggy, you including Kyle Pitts there is a long way from where you once were.
Oh, no, Kyle Pitts is there because he was number 4.
No. But I can see a world where in the past you would have just excluded Kyle Pitts' name. Or you would have had it. You would have prefaced it.
I would exclude
it.
You
would have prefaced it with something. That was the exact order, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable class. Holy cow.
So but here's the thing. So take Kyle Pitts out of that, right?
Well, no, Ziggy. I'm saying you look. We all remember the episode.
Well, no, but let me finish what I'm going to say.
Okay.
If you take Kyle Pitts out of that, I think you could put basically any one of those players on the 49ers last year, and they're in the Super Bowl.
Possible. I
them
tend to
one
disagree.
of the 2 or 3 best corners in the league. Give them one of the best tackles in the league. Give them one of the best wide receivers in the league.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous how talented.
Give him Micah Parsons, right?
Well, if you give him Micah now, yeah, now we're talking here. It's a good take.
To be clear, I remember the Kyle Pitts episode. I do not apologize for the Kyle Pitts episode. Him playing on the franchise tag is a joke, and the Falcons will regret it immediately.
Kyle Pitts having the game of his life, the episode, more touchdowns than he had in 2 years combined.
I mean, I'll say Kyle Pitts he's brilliant, right? Like, he realized, wait a second, if I just have one good game near the end of the season, they'll make me the 3rd highest paid tight end in the NFL this year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's whatever's going on in Atlanta, right? Kirk Cousins was able to fool Atlanta. Kyle Pitts fooled Atlanta.
Kyle Pitts had 5 touchdowns last year, and he played every single game. 3 of them were in that one game.
After you said stay away from him forever.
Yeah.
You know who I think might be more excited after draft night than anyone in the league? Lamar Jackson. I think that the Ravens going and getting Vega Ioane, which that was one of the most popular picks mocked in the draft heading into the night. It was at 14. If Vega Ioane is on the board, Baltimore's a great landing spot. And they could have been suckered into Mekhi Lemon, which might wind up being he might wind up being a really good receiver. We're not sure. Some people had Kenyon Sadiq going there. But what does Baltimore do so often with these early picks is they just get a guy who everyone agrees is a great football player. Vega Ioane might be the best offensive lineman in the draft. I mean, you read up on him and you watch his film and he's just a mauler. And for a team like Baltimore, for him to fall down the board there, and I get that he's a guard, right? So people get so caught up with the position and probably for good reason. But
I'll tell you though,
yeah,
with what guards are getting paid now, that's much less of a reach than it used to be, right? The good guards
100%.
in the NFL are making almost what the good tackles do.
100%. But also, you know what? Would Baltimore right now go back in time and say, yeah, you know what? Kyle Hamilton's a safety. Maybe we don't want to take him there. When you get a guy who can be an all-pro caliber player, he's going to make an impact on your team, regardless of where he is on the field. So they do the smart thing and they take Vega Ioane and it wasn't just a great player at a position, but it was a great player at a real position in need. Their interior offensive line last year, the guards were the 2 worst pair in the league. And then you lose Tyler Linderbaum. And to get him here later on in the 3rd round, a guy you mentioned that was, mocked in the top 10, I think, of last year's draft, they get Jacoby Lane out of USC, 6'4", big receiver. Someone to complement Zay Flowers on the outside. I'd imagine Lamar Jackson was sitting back on draft night. Oh, and Zion Young in the 2nd round, also a guy who was falling, put him opposite Aiden Hutchinson. I'd imagine that Lamar Jackson was sitting back going, I can work with this here. Okay, protect me a little bit.
Jacoby Lane in round 3 too. Don't forget that.
Oh, no, that's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. 6'4", big body guy. I'd imagine he's really happy, and I'm not going to be surprised at all when you have a motivated Lamar Jackson coming out next season, returning to MVP form, and you give him a weapon, give him a guy who can block. And by the way, Derrick Henry's back there, and he's also going to like having someone who can pave the path for him. So I thought Baltimore was a big winner. We didn't even touch on. They had another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They had another 8 picks. So Baltimore walks away with 11 people in this draft class. Go ahead.
Lamar's got some competition from Diego Pavia too. He's got to watch out.
No, did the Ravens take Pavia?
He's coming in their rookie mini camp.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
I'll say this, Paul. Like, I don't say things like this very often, but Jack's not around, so I can say it. The Ravens need to prove Jack wrong this year.
Absolutely.
Right? It's easy to sit back and say, like, the Ravens are finally adding talent. They're finally getting players to the positions they need. But if you look at the playoff history for the Ravens over the past few years with Lamar, I mean, it's been putrid, right? They've beaten terrible teams if they are lucky enough to make the playoffs, right? Since the last time they won a divisional game was 2012. I mean, they won a Super Bowl that year. It was pretty good. But since then, they beat the Texans in the division round 2023 when they had the first round bye.
Yeah, they won one game there when they hosted Kansas City.
A terrible Texans team, right? That was CJ Stroud's first time in the playoffs. I mean, that's good. They were close to beating the Chiefs and couldn't do it. They were close to beating the Bills in 2024 and couldn't do it. Close to beating the Bengals in 2022 and couldn't do it. They've been right there. And against the three teams they're really competing with in the AFC East, the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Bengals, they have not been able to get it done. It's got to come soon because as much as this makes me feel old, Lamar Jackson turns 30 next year. And he's a mobile quarterback. He's very athletic right now, but that's not going to last forever. You're only going to get so many more productive, healthy seasons out of him. It's got to come soon for Baltimore. While Pittsburgh is weak, while Cincinnati is weak, while the Browns are weak. Like, this has to be it, I think.
Yeah, it feels borderline egregious that they couldn't win the division last year. What
do you mean? They're garbage.
No, I know, but if you're a Ravens fan,
garbage too.
If you're a Ravens fan and you told them what was going to be the case, what won the division? Did Pittsburgh have 10 wins last season?
Yeah, I believe Pittsburgh finished with 10 and like a bad 10.
Yeah, they were a bad 10-7. Since if you told anyone before the year, all right, Pittsburgh does their thing and then squeaks to 10 wins, Cincinnati 6-11. I don't even need to tell you about the Browns. Baltimore go, okay, we pretty comfortably we're going to get in here. And it's
if you can just beat the Steelers, you get in.
To miss the playoffs completely, it was just a nightmare year for them. And you're right, Ziggy, that for the people like Jack who are out here saying, hey, this Ravens team, like, I don't believe in them at all. You kind of have some data to support that right now. If you had said it going into the 2025 season, which Jack was saying, it's easy for us to look at him and say, all right, like, shut up, man. You just don't like Lamar. And there are people who are like that. But after a 13-3, 12-5 season, it's kind of hard not to like Baltimore. But now, you're coming off a year where they're 8-9. And there's a lot of question marks. A new head coach, John Harbaugh's not there anymore. Even if you don't like John Harbaugh as a playoff coach, they're pretty successful with him in the regular season over the course of his tenure there. So it's there's absolutely something to prove. This is a great start, at least, of getting things back on track. And it's going to come down to, hey, is Lamar Jackson going to turn it up a notch, which I expect him to do this season. So Baltimore was another team to me that they just crushed this draft. Overreaction, but I think this will contribute to an MVP caliber Lamar year.
It has to. Yeah. Like, that's the time for excuses over in Baltimore.
All right, Ziggy, I know you had one. I think you had one more, right?
Well, that was a Vikings take. But if you want, there are plenty of other things I think about the NFL draft.
If you have a non-Vikings take.
Yeah, well, because we did my Vikings take, right? My Vikings take was that this will close the window, and I'm going to be a little bit nicer. This significantly endangers whatever window we have, but if it all works out, the window explodes. This is where
we're going to get flamed in the same sense that the Eagles fans were ripping us, going, rivalry. What rivalry do we have with the Eagles? Which was a little misconstrued. Again, what I meant was the Packers and Lions trades. I don't like them, and then I was talking about two other trades with the Lions and Packers. Maybe in my mind, I saw some guy who was like, hey, are these Vikings fans still mad about 2017? Yeah. Oh yes, God. I am still mad.
You would be too.
Just to put it out there, somebody followed us on Twitch and it popped up. I have the
just now?
Alert box.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I do this every show, but we are recording, right?
On what?
On the regular platform here, OBS.
No, we've just been going for.
You never know. You never know. You never know. I like to check in. That would have been crushing, really crushing.
It would have been, but
producer Zach's best in business. Maybe I should just have a little faith in the guy.
Yeah. Did I record on Zoom? No, but
Of course. Well, yeah. I could see that from here.
Did I pin Ziggy? No.
No, that's par for the course. Guys, whenever we do this, and I say before we record, usually I go, we good to go? We recording? And Zach and Ziggy just give me an inordinate amount of crap for it. And I go, hey, that's my job. Like that's what I do as a producer with the volume. You just always want to be safe. But like 9 times out of 10, it's not actually recording. So it's.
What do you mean 9 times out of 10 it's not recording?
Bro, we could go through this. We could go through
How
the
many
records.
times have I been here where we have not been recording?
9 times out of 10.
No, that's not true at all.
Well, I'm talking the
Or
Zoom record.
Okay.
The Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zoom. All right.
No, you're fantastic with the other one.
I thought
The other one you're great with. I check, but I know in the back of my mind that you're good there. The Zoom record's the one I'm like, I know this isn't going, but you know. All right, Ziggy.
Oh, wait, Ziggy just gonna stay quiet on my producing like that? That's crazy.
Well, normally he defends, but we're on air now, so he's got he knows.
He's retracting
He knows.
it. Look at that. That's crazy, Ziggy. I thought we were friends.
It's producer Zack. Paul's right in this case. It's tough for me to stick up for you when you screw it up.
No wonder why you guys are Vikings fans.
yeah, we stick together, man.
Hey, how long has it been since you guys have won a playoff game?
How long has it been since
you good turn on each other? Yes,
won a playoff
yes,
game? A lot less.
Maybe a lot less. When'd you win a playoff game?
It's the last one we won. Is the last playoff game that we won? It's Kirk, right? It's Kirk in New Orleans. I mean, we just don't win playoff games.
Oh yeah,
yeah, but neither do the Dolphins.
Yeah, but you guys definitely have won one before.
Oh no, I mean, well, yeah. Well, I can't remember. You haven't won in your lifetime.
We haven't won a playoff game in the 2000s.
Maybe 01.
No,
you got there in 01.
Oh, they did win December 30th, 2000. Don't forget that overtime Colts win.
Okay, yeah. So
we just made it. We just made it to the 2000s.
Yeah, so you snuck one in there. You were 2 years old. Do you remember that game?
Oh yeah,
it was a great day.
Yeah.
Great day.
I think Peyton Manning was the quarterback.
Yeah, that was awesome. What a time!
Playoff game. I think the Vikings have won a playoff game every decade that they've sort of been in the NFL.
Yeah, we're solid. I mean, the 80s we had some hiccups, but we made the championship game in 87, I think it was.
Yeah, no, we've won I double checked. We've won a playoff game every decade we've been around.
Oh no, I mean absolutely.
We haven't won the 2020s yet, but we'll get there.
Well, wow. Okay, so we are actually kind of run out of time. I don't know how encouraging it is to think the Vikings will win a playoff game in the next 4 seasons.
I think they will.
Well, I appreciate your confidence. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna get flamed anyway though for Ziggy saying that the window, whatever window that was, is closed.
Yeah, no, I don't mean the window in the sense of we have a big one. What I mean is I think with this draft, this current Vikings core is not going to go anywhere.
Our perceived window,
winning a playoff game.
Yeah. This
window
group.
Here, I don't mean windows mean different things to different teams.
You mean
if you're a fan of a good team, window means Super Bowl. Here, I mean winning a playoff.
Yeah, competitiveness. Okay, but the take you had.
Here's my take. My favorite pick of the draft, probably my absolute favorite. If you sit down and ask Ziggy, what do you think was the best pick of the draft? Paul, what do you think was my favorite pick?
Jennings Dunker to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, okay.
That's your favorite pick.
Did you see the guy tossing hay?
I'd rather see him tossing FBS linemen.
Well, Jennings Dunker, I'm telling you, man. I was on him on the stream. When I saw the video, you just hear the name, right? We all know you hear the name Jennings Dunker, and you go off like absolutely dominant offensive lineman. Then you find out he's from Iowa. Makes sense. Then you see videos of him throwing hay. Like, yeah, that's a guy I want on my football team. So I think the Steelers getting.
I thought you said you wanted to draft guys who are good at football. Or you want to draft guys who are good at throwing hay.
I want guys who are good at football, or I want guys whose names, same way that Big Citrus, you know that guy's going to shut down the run. You know Jennings Dunker is going to move humans on the line of scrimmage. So I'm all good with that. But who is your favorite?
Wait. Can we is he in the first round?
Oh, you want to guess? First round pick.
Well, first round pick.
Ziggy's favorite first round
Paul,
pick.
you already made your guess. Producer Zack, what's your pick?
Favorite first. Well, he didn't say in the first round, but
you know what? You're right. I'll give you another chance, Paul, because Jennings Dunker was a joke of a pick.
First round pick. Can we get?
No. We could get this. We could get this.
No, I was gonna say, can we get top 15 or bottom 15 pick?
See,
no, you can't.
This is also. Oh, I know. I know the answer.
What's the answer?
Well, this is where we find out how good Ziggy actually is at sports media too.
Oh, is it a Cardinals pick?
No, he doesn't like the Ryan.
No, the Jeremiah Love picks. I don't like that at all.
No, I figured maybe it was just because.
Is it ready? Watch me narrow this down. Just say yes. Just say yes. NFC team.
Yes.
Blue logo.
I'm actually not sure.
NFC East.
No.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm out. I was gonna say Caleb Downs.
Logo redesign this offseason.
I was gonna say Caleb Downs
Redesign this
to
offseason?
the Cowboys.
Yeah. No, it's not Caleb Downs to the Cowboys, Paul. You know me too well for that.
Hey, I took myself. Well, okay. Well, then
The Buccaneers?
I don't want to drag this on.
This was the other team I was going to guess. I was between two, and if you were good at sports media, you would have said the Cowboys to get Cowboys in here. Monroe Freeling to the Panthers. You were on offensive line to the Panthers for a month and a half.
Yeah, that's great. He went to the Panthers.
Okay. Go ahead.
Give it to us.
Ty Simpson to the Los Angeles Rams.
He is good at sports media. He's good at sports media.
No, this isn't a good at sports media thing. So I'll say two things. One is like taking a quarterback. You know this. This is the way to my heart. Taking a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah,
always excite me.
The dartboard theory. Yep.
But setting that aside, right? The Rams have gotten so much hate. There's been a weird psychoanalysis train on Sean McVay trying to figure out what's in his head. I love this Ty Simpson pick because Ty Simpson to me is a player who has a good foundation. Mentally, he's got it in the NFL. Physically, he's got it.
Why do you say mentally he's got it? Mentally, he's got it in the NFL. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen anything.
No, but I've seen him play college, and he can read defenses at a basic level. Many college quarterbacks just can't do that.
It's fair enough.
He did a good job at Alabama. Physically, when he was healthy, he was very good at Alabama. And I know there were times where he struggled last year. He didn't get tons of starts. I know he's only started, 14 or 15 games. I like him a lot more than when Mac Jones came out of Alabama. I think physically and mentally, he's more exciting. And I think the chance to sit for a year in LA and take over when Stafford retires next year is a great landing spot. This is something the Rams have always done, is they don't make a lot of first round picks. They've made Jared Goff. They've made, I'm trying to remember who their other first round pick is. It's that edge rusher on their team.
Verse?
Yeah, Jared Verse. I can't remember why I blanked on his name. Yeah, they've made Jared Verse, and now they've made this.
I would just say a lack of
first round
knowledge.
picks they've made since they took Jared Goff. The Rams don't do it very often, but when they do take their first round picks and use them rather than adding players, it's with an eye towards the future, players who can be productive for a while. And I think this just makes a load of sense for the Rams. Well, I know it's popular to hate. I know people don't want to put their neck out. They say, why don't you take a Mekhi Lemon or a Blake Miller or a Reuben Bain to produce now? There's no such thing as sure production out of the first round of the NFL draft. And I'd much rather them take a player who can be a home run when, frankly, at every single position, the Rams are set.
Yeah, I mean, if you put down the pen to your Disney movie here and we forget about, Les Snead being buddies with Ty Simpson's father.
Oh, yeah, he's talked to Ty Simpson's dad once. I'm sure he's using pick 13 as a favor to Ty Simpson.
Ziggy's finishing off the script, and Ty Simpson, coming in for Matthew Stafford, wins the Super Bowl for the Rams. I'm going to Disney World. The philosophy is understandable. And I think for anybody who watches this podcast, we know that Green Bay Packers fans, right? Green Bay Packers fans have lived through this. When you take the quarterback, when you feel like the rest of the organization and the media pressure is saying, build your team or add to your team that's a Super Bowl contender right now. I think most Packers fans would take Jordan Love in hindsight than adding a receiver. And maybe you win a Super Bowl. You don't know. T. Higgins was in that draft, I believe, with Jordan Love. If you give Aaron Rodgers T. Higgins, maybe, probably not, but maybe the Packers go a little bit further. It could happen. If it works out with Ty Simpson, and you're right, Ziggy, or whoever's right, making the pick, the Rams are geniuses, and they'll be competitive for a really long time.
It's exactly like when the Eagles took Jalen Hurts. That's what it can be.
It can be that. Personally speaking,
it will be. You never know.
Yeah, personally speaking, I wasn't a huge Ty Simpson fan, and I think his stock rose because of the lack of quarterbacks in the draft. So not only do I think it was a bad decision in terms of helping the team right now, but I also think it was a reach for a quarterback here.
But here's the thing, Paul.
But I get what you're saying.
To take a quarterback next year.
No, I totally get what you're saying. It makes sense.
It's always easy to sit back and say, next year, this position is going to be great in the draft. This was supposed to be a killer quarterback year. Why? Because like Garrett Nussmeier, Lenora Sellers, Arch Manning, they were supposed to be 6 or 7 first-round quarterbacks this year. And instead, everyone's saying this is one of the weakest quarterback classes in years.
I'd be pissed off.
Never know.
I'd be pissed off with the pick as a Rams fan. But I'll say, again, Ty Simpson has the opportunity to prove everyone beyond wrong. I don't think it will work out. If there was another quarterback that I liked more, I'd love the pick. I'd love it. But I'm not a Ty Simpson guy. And again, your dartboard theory could prove correct here. But with the player that it was in this spot, I didn't like reaching for someone that I felt like was, probably closer to a second, maybe third round pick rather than the 13th pick in the draft.
Yes. The difference, though, I think, is like, people will say you should have taken Sadiq. You should have taken one of the tackles. You should have taken a wide receiver. Yeah, I mean, you and I are united on Sadiq. I am so thrilled that the Jets took him, so the Vikings didn't even have a chance to. People say you should have taken Reuben Bain, but the truth is those guys don't have better than a coin flip chance of being any good anyway.
Yeah, I don't mind the QB selection, that thought. It's just, again, the value of where you got Ty Simpson, but could be wrong. So I mean, I like it.
Could they have gotten Ty Simpson in round 2? I don't think so.
No shot. So if they wanted him, they had to make the move there. But all right, that's good stuff. Good stuff, Ziggy.
See, Paul, you were wondering, right? When I passed on the Cowboys, like, does he have a take that we can make a clickbait thumbnail out?
Well, I was looking
absolutely.
I was looking through, and I was like, all right, blue. What you said, NFC
well,
team.
So this is what's annoying about ESPN. The Rams did that logo redesign on the ESPN draft picks. The Rams logo is blue.
It is blue. I mean, I'd say that.
I'm pretty sure the logo is actually like raw dog yellow now, which is just disgusting.
Raw dog yellow.
No, it's all yellow. It looks terrible, but maybe it's all blue and I've forgotten.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, that is pretty gross. That new one. It looks very Chargers-esque.
It's weird. The Rams they already had a mediocre logo, but they made it truly, I think, the worst logo in the NFL.
Yeah, they did redo it, but now it actually looks like the LA Chargers.
No, but I thought they just like redid it like recently before redoing it again.
Oh yeah, they did. But also, it now almost looks like a C. It like the Rams horn looks like a C, and it kind of looks a bit like a bolt.
That was the Chargers. I wouldn't.
It looks like a bolt a little bit.
You only need to move a couple pixels around for that to be a Chargers.
That's really funny. Oh, you know what? Double the sales. Maybe you can fool some dumb Chargers fans. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate everyone for tuning in. Again, there's a more in-depth NFC North breakdown that I put out yesterday. You can go check that out. But you know why? Why just listen to Paul when you can listen to all the guys right here? Isn't it better? Isn't it better when
all the guys that matter?
Oh yeah, all the guys that matter. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Appreciate everyone. We'll be back probably later this week. I got some traveling later in the week, so we'll, who knows? Maybe that opens the door to the highly praised Ziggy solo shows, but I don't think that'll happen. I shouldn't even tease it. Don't get people too excited. All right, we'll see you guys later this week. Thanks for tuning in.